We are live. Peace, peace, peace to all beautiful souls. Welcome to All Things Self Mastery Show podcast. And I am your host, educator, Venus Scott. I am an expert self mastery mentor, educator. I love all things mastery. I am a student of life. And here on this platform, I teach you how you can learn to master yourself, therefore mastering your reality. So every Thursday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I bring you a different topic, all under the umbrella of self-mastery. And this evening is no different, so welcome in. This is an engaging platform. This is an interactive platform. I talk to you, you talk to me, we engage because we do this for us, okay? So I love it when you welcome in, Son LT. How are you, beautiful? So welcome in. We're going to be having a very interesting conversation and education this evening. For all of you who do know me, I'm trying to get my hand reached over here. So all of you who are familiar with me, I'm doing something a little different. Hi, Cookie. How are you, love? So I love educating. And so this evening, I thought I'll do something different. So this is new to me. My brain is still computing and processing. I'm an educator, first and foremost. So this evening, we're going to be working with a board. I'm going to get to write and I'm going to get to color and you're going to get to see. So do me a favor and please participate, because that's what the purpose is for us to participate, for us to learn. Repetition is a part of mastering self. So caution. Let me just give a little bit of cautionary before we get started. The views, images, and the perspectives expressed, shown in this live, All Things Self-Mastery with Venus Scott, are those of the speaker, me, Venus Scott, and not of the views and opinions necessarily owned and directed towards TikTok. The content presented by the speaker, me, may trigger some of individuals' cognitive dissonance. So if you are under the age of 18, if you feel that you are mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically disciplined, now is your opportunity to exit the live. If you're not, if you're willing to learn, if you want to know the know, if you want to change your reality, change the trajectory of your life, this is where you should be. So as always, I come with an open heart and always offer you infinite enlightenment. Let's get started. I'm excited. Put a 1 in the comment section if you're ready to get started. Who is this class for? Who is self-mastery for? For you, men and women. If you are one who needs a deeper understanding, overstanding, understanding, even understanding into the deeper reasons as to why you continually do the things you do, this masterclass, the level of awareness, is going to help you. If you need to know the how to, this is going to help you. If you want to change, and not just change, but you're willing to do the things necessary for change, this is for you. If you desire partnership, marriage, soulmates, this message, this education, this information is for you. If you desire to elevate, evolve, spiritually ascend, mentally ascend, gain intelligence, whatever it is, no matter what it is, no matter who it is, information is definitely the prerequisite for changing the trajectory of your life. Okay, thank you, Boogie. Thank you, Coach Tanya, for helping out. And for those of you who are familiar with me, a part of the monumental team, please feel free to engage and to assist, because oftentimes when I'm into coaching and I'm into teaching, I may indirectly miss some of your comments. So this class is for you. Okay, so let's get started. Let's get started. Let's get started. For those of you who may be new to me, I am an expert self-mastery mentor and educator. What does that mean? I spent more than 15 plus years educating myself, studying in the areas of psychology, metaphysics, universal laws and principles, neuroscience, all the sciences, right? And so I am also a best-selling self-published author of 3 books to date. Attracting What and Who You Desire is my last book that I just published. I'm very excited about that. There's a lot of things that I've accomplished. I am also a veteran of the Army, spent 5 years there, 12-month tour in Afghanistan, And most importantly, what I want you all to know, I am a former mentally enslaved individual. Okay. And so my primary goal is to help you get free. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Coach Emmanuel. Right. And this is what I do. Right. So I'm going to share with you before, as the start of the levels of awareness. What do you think the number one reason? I'm going to switch to the board. And this is where I want you all to engage. Let me see if I can do this. I may continue to do this. I may decide to not do it. It depends on how we go. So this is where you participate, my loves. How can I prop this up? This is where you participate. Answer in the comments, what do you think some of the reasons are as to why we are not elevating? Why we are still continuing the same behavior patterns? Why our life isn't changing? Write in the comments. Oh, shit. All right. Listen, make sure y'all bear with me. Keep in mind this. I'm doing something new, okay? Thank you. Fear. I see you. Fear. Okay. What's another thing? Putting others first. Okay. Putting others first. One of the reasons why many of us are not getting the results we need. Okay. Core beliefs, never making it. Yes. Limited beliefs. Okay, give me something else. All right, I see you. And don't be laughing at my scribble scrabble, okay? Mindset, there you go, coach. Mindset, right? So with all of these things, right? When it comes down to the number one, and I'm not going to say number one, I'm going to say number ones. The number one's reasons as to why we are not evolving, why we are still not healing, why we are still devolving, why many of us are still heavily depressed, why many of us have given up, why many of us are lonely, unhealthy, weak-minded, weak-willed. And again, I say all of these things in the utmost respect. Rolex, I love that. Procrastination. Oh, Jamie, shame about the past. That's a good one. I love that. Right? So continuing the list, and we know that the list can go on and on and on and on. We're not growing. A lot of us are still angry. A lot of us are still miserable. A lot of us are still in poverty. A lot of us are still hurting. You know what is at the epitome of all of those things, of us still being hurt, of us still having an indecisive mindset, still experiencing cognitive dissonance? What is at the core of that? If you was to type in to Google or Chat GPT or whatever it is, lack of effort and heal, there's one thing that comes up at the top of the list as to why we're still not healing, as to why we are not healing, depressed, full of anxiety, lonely, feel like giving up, right? There's one thing that is at the top of the list. Can y'all guess what that is? Dun, 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 dun. I give you Can we all see that? Can we all see that? Unawareness. It is because our lack of awareness. Many of us are still suffering the way we are suffering because we do not understand that we are unaware of a lot of things that is going on with us. We're unaware as to why we keep repeating the same behavior patterns. Right? Now you got handwriting. Listen, so In order, the best way I can describe what awareness is, right? And I always say, whenever you are on whenever you are on your journey to mastering self, whenever are on your journey to mastering your reality, one of the most important things for you to understand is your ability to comprehend what's going on. Words have meanings and etymology attached to them for a reason. So in the synopsis, the best way I can explain awareness is knowing or being conscious of something. Now, I know a lot of us think that we are aware, right? However, I want you to ask yourself a deeper question. If you were as aware as you currently think you are, why do you think your circumstances aren't changing in a manner in which you want them to change? Right? Just look at the trajectory of the state of us today, right? The receipts of your reality will never lie. So when it comes to attracting, when it comes to manifesting, when it comes to whatever it is you want, whatever it is you need, whatever it is you desire, awareness is at the very top of that list. Lack of knowledge of how to be aware. Correct. Suffering is not always a bad thing, you know. I understand that. I understand, because there's no such thing as having one without the other, Jay. However, an overwhelming experience, well, I should say this, excessive amount of suffering isn't natural, right? And I know a lot of us are under the guise that in order for you to be successful, you have to suffer. That's not true. In order for you to be accepted, you have to suffer. In order for you to rise, you have to suffer. So y'all ready to go a little bit deeper? Let's go a little bit deeper. Keep in mind that I'm trying something new and attempting to make this more engaging. So when it comes to shadow work, when it comes to healing, when it comes to traumas, when it comes to dis-ease, when it comes to dysfunction, anxiety, depression, unhappiness, whatever it is you lack, securities, confidence, ignorance, whatever it is, the common denominator of all of those things is unawareness. We are experiencing, yes, that is false, Coach Emmanuel, right? So understand that there is an inception to everything that we are experiencing, right? There are finite reasons why we are in unhealthy relationships, right? Isn't this a big one? Isn't this a big one? Right? Now, I would beg the question, if so many of us were so aware of what we think we're aware of, why are so many of us still in unhealthy relationships? Why are so many of us still accepting disrespect, dishonor? Why are so many of us have became so desensitized to people's poor behavior when it comes to toxic connections? There's a finite reason behind it, right? And if you never understand the levels of awareness, guess what? You're going to find yourself in creating toxic connections after toxic connections. When it comes to lack of confidence, you know what? I definitely gotta work on my handwriting, right? I'm gonna get all that together, but y'all get the gist. When it comes to lack of confidence, when it comes to insecurities, right? When it comes to insecurities, all of these things have a finite inception. And if you never understand, if you never become aware, guess what? These things are not going to change. And what do I always tell you guys? Not you guys, pardon me, I take that back. What do I always tell you all? What you feed gains power, and what you starve loses power. And a lot of us are indirectly feeding the frequencies of unhealthy relationships, the frequencies of toxic connections, the frequencies of lack of confidence, the frequencies of insecurities. Why? Because what you don't know continues to grow. I'll say that again. What you don't know continues to grow. Keep in mind that I'm not saying believe. It's not enough to just believe. You have to know. So when it comes to poor health, when it comes to not attracting opportunities, when it comes to us being in poverty, when it comes to us struggling, when it comes to us being addicted to people, places, and things, not just drugs, you have to understand the inception of it, right? So when we're talking about consciousness, when we're talking about awareness, guess what you have to understand? How many have put in the comment section, how many of you understand what consciousness is? Now, don't be shy, okay? This is a no judgment zone. What do you think consciousness is? What does consciousness mean to you? Awareness. What is it? I'm going to give you an opportunity because I don't like just giving you answers. Right? I don't like giving answers. What does consciousness mean to you? Remember, gaining a deeper understanding of these things is imperative. I don't know how this thing is going to work out, but let me switch. What does consciousness mean to you? What does it mean? I think I've seen someone respond. I can't see it. Hi, love. How are you? Right? What does it mean? Come on. I know y'all intelligent people. Let's go. This is how we learn. I want you to get familiar and comfortable, right? It's a no judgment zone, right? A lot of us haven't even seen each other in person, right? So feel free. The best way to get to the core of things is for you to be transparently honest with yourself, for you to engage, for you to start activating and firing off new neural connections. Okay? So participate. Knowledge. There you go. There you go. Knowledge, yes, that's one. Education, yes. I love the answers. Jay, how are you, love? And I'm amazing. Awareness is yourself and your environment. Great answer, Sun LT. Great answer, Lala. I love that. I love that. Continue to tap the screen for me, right? So, awareness also requires you to understand consciousness. And a lot of people, I know, mindfulness. There you go. Yes, Coach Emmanuel, mindfulness, right? So when it comes to understanding awareness, you also have to understand consciousness. Not only consciousness, the level of consciousness. Remember, I often say there are levels within levels, right? There are levels within levels. So at its core, consciousness, awareness in essence is connected to consciousness, right? It represents specific sensations, thoughts, feelings, emotions, right? That we are experiencing at any given moment. And to gain a deeper understanding of this, you have to know what this is. Why do you have to know? Because everything you want, everything you need, everything that you want to attract, when it comes to manifesting, when it comes to attracting, the first thing you need to know is that you're always manifesting and you're always attracting. The goal is to move from the state of where you are only manifesting and attracting people, places, and things that no longer serve you, that no longer benefit you, to a state to where you are manifesting and attracting people, place, and things that are serving you, right? In conjunction with you serving yourself, with you serving your higher purpose. So why is this important? Because it has everything to do with the life that you're living. It has everything to do with why a lot of you are still miserable. Sincerely and respectfully said. It has a lot to do with why a lot of us I'm gonna say us, right? To soften the blow. It has everything to do with, I'll start again. Lack of these levels of awareness have everything to do with why many of us are still depressed. Why many of us are still in poverty. Why many of us just can't seem to get it right. Why many of us cannot even sit with ourselves for 3 minutes, let alone 5 minutes, because it is in a stillness to where your brain starts to process and pull from one of the conscious levels, which a lot of us are afraid of because you don't understand it. So this is why it's incredibly important. Put a 1 in the comment section if you want more. Put a 1 in the comment section if you actually want a significant other, want a partner, want to forge healthy relationships. Put a 1 in the comment section if you actually want more money. There's nothing wrong or unhealthy with wanting more of all things that this life has to offer. There's nothing wrong with you wanting to be more healthier, with you wanting to be more fit. There's nothing wrong with you wanting to look good in your clothes, the way you present yourself. There's nothing wrong with you wanting a better job or a better career or wanting to go into business. Not only go into business, but have that business evolve. There's nothing wrong with that. If you, like many of us, my hands is up too. I'm putting a 1 in the comments, right? I'm putting a 1 in the comments. Then you need to understand this. Because every moment, every second that you take to do not get, to choose not to get the mentoring and coaching that you need when it comes to things that is dictating your behaviors, your thought processes, your neurological networks, your firing, your circuits, all of these things. This is the prerequisite. This is the reason why you are going to continue to go downhill. And I say that respectfully. Because you're indirectly feeding the very same thing that you want to destroy. And then you get to a point where everything seems chaotic. The depression feels like a ton of bricks on your back. Anxiety seems like a ton of bricks on your back. Disparity seems like a ton of bricks on your back. Everything intensifies, and awareness, right? Awareness is also understanding what's going on internally as well as externally. As above, so below. If you do not understand the frequency that we are living in, not just Aquarius, where we're in the great age of exposure and what unveiling, we're also in a dark energy of frequency to where everything is being accelerated. 10 years ago, things were at a quote unquote kind of normal speed. But right now, everything is being accelerated. So the energies and frequencies, the lack of your understanding of these things is accelerating. If you're depressed, your depression is going to accelerate. If you're in poverty, your poverty is going to accelerate. If things are horrible for you, it's going to accelerate. If you're negative, thinking, right, it's prominent, it's being accelerated. Everything is being accelerated now, which is why you see so many of us crashing and burning. But we making it look good, right? You can't really tell because we making it look good, because we're putting lipstick over it. We're putting glasses over it. We're putting makeup over it. We're putting jewelry over it. We're adorning ourselves over it. We're getting fresh cuts over it. We're putting on new, masking it. Right? That's not helping it. That's called suppressing it. And it's getting worse. And it's evident. Why do we have to crash and burn before we realize the path in which we are on is leading to us crashing and burning? So why is educating yourself fundamental? Right? Why should it become a part of your process to educate yourself, to not just speak a thing, not just think a thing, but to really understand, overstand, understand, and especially understand a thing? Because it dictates your every behavior. It dictates everything and everyone you attract in your reality. How many times are you going to keep repeating the same stories over and over and over again? How many times do you think you can say you're aware without actually not being aware? Right? So these are, of course, tough questions that we should be asking ourselves. You know what? I don't know if that thing gonna work out for me, okay? Because I'm used to just talking and animated. This how I'm gonna draw. All right, I'm gonna draw with my hands. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna draw with my hands, and that's just what it's gonna be, okay? If I'll get used to it if I want to, right? So levels of awareness is understanding levels of consciousness. Ashe? Yeah, if it's making sense to you, put a 1 in the comment section. Put a 1 in the comment section if it's making sense to you. What you don't know hurts you. What you don't know hurts you. Infinite gratitude for the support. Follow. Ashe. Thank you, Tiffany. I love the fact that y'all transparently honest. I love that because this is the only way. The stories you continually tell are the stories you continually live. I'm going to say that again. So we talk about awareness, right? We talk about awareness. The stories you continually tell. I know it's important for us to be seen, for us to be heard, for us to express ourselves, and for us to connect with people. But understand your lack of awareness, your lack of understanding what awareness truly is really to your detriment. Right? Stop speaking the same traumatic stories just for a like, just for a sympathy, just for a hug. It's not working in your favor because what you're doing is energetically feeding that emotion. You're feeding that frequency, so it's going to keep growing and growing, and now it's going to grow at an accelerated rate, at an accelerated rate. So we're wondering why we're getting deeper and deeper and deeper in the hole. These are some of the reasons why, right? Conscious awareness. This is 10% part of your behaviors, just 10%. And this is where a lot of us live, just in the conscious realm. That's also considered the lowest realm because all you are partially aware of is your external stimuli. External stimuli. Not realizing that all of those external stimuli has an inception that can only be found disconnected, reprogrammed from the unconscious level. We're still talking about awareness, but a lot of us don't yet know that or understand that. Words are in the power of your tongue. Ashe. Ashe, Coach Tanya. Right? So realize that if you do not have a deeper understanding, overstanding, understanding of these levels of awareness, the conscious level, the sub and pre-conscious level of awareness, right? And then the unconscious, right? Realize that you're going to keep repeating the same behaviors over and over again. Yeah, you may make some progress. You may take an inch. But isn't this where the saying goes? Damn, how many of y'all have said this or heard somebody say, damn, it seems like every time I take 2 steps forward, I take 10 back. I know I'm not the only person that heard that phrase or have said that phrase in the past when I did not have a deeper understanding of these levels of awareness that I'm teaching you now, right? That's where that come from, right, Freedom? That's where that come from. There's a finite reason why to all of it. So it's not enough just to say, yeah, I want to change. Yes, I want to change, right? It's not enough just to stick your pinky toe and change. After you stick your pinky toe in, baby, at some point you got to be willing to dive deeper. At some point you got to be willing to dive deeper. Because that's the only way things are going to change. Change does not simply come by speaking alone, by thinking alone. It is your neurological circuitry, wiring, programming that dictates your behavior. So many of you have heard me speak about your dominant mental database. This is what I'm talking about conscious awareness and the levels of awareness. You can only reprogram your mental dominant database, the programs in which you're running on, right? From the unconscious level. Okay? And we need to understand that because it matters. Some of you heard the phrase conscious awareness, where we hear this phrase, higher level of consciousness, but you have a lot of people talking about it, but they don't really understand what they're talking about it, because if you look at the way their life is situated, and it's not to dig at anyone, at some point doing the inner work, doing the real work, asking yourself the toughest questions is what you're thinking, what you're being, what you're speaking. Is it in alignment with your reality? And if it isn't, there's something that needs your attention. What is your reality in alignment with? It's a key indicator of what you need to work on. But you're not going to change that simply by thinking about it, simply by speaking about it. This is why I say, you can speak all the affirmations that you want in the world. Not going to change. You can create all the vision boards. Not going to change as much as you think. It's not going to work. Why? Because you cannot change exterior circumstances from the exterior circumstances. It's not the way that works. Your external is created by your internal. When I say internal, that means you have to understand the levels of consciousness. That means you have to go deep in order to reprogram. This is where we get into neuroscience, right? If you don't understand your neurological system, you're not going to resolve a lot of your issues. Yes, what you can't see, right? When you're diving deep into this, I know it's a challenge for you not to rely on your external stimuli, because we've been programmed to only believe and have faith in what we can reflect. Keep in mind that I didn't say see, right? Now we going a little bit deeper here. You do not see with these two eyes of yours. They reflect, they project. You see with your third eye. You see with your innocence. You see within perception. Yes, Coach Tanya, right? It's internal. So I know a lot of us have been programmed to only see what we can, to believe and to know and to trust in what we can visually, quote unquote, reflect, right? Your reality is a holographic, and this is all I'm going to say about that. Your reality is a holographic image of what's in here. So you cannot be genuine when you say, I'm doing shadow work. I'm doing the inner work. I'm healing. And you do not understand this. It's important. Right? Why do you need to understand this? Relating to trauma, the core of healing is by code reprogramming. You simply isolating yourself is not healing. Understand the levels of awareness and consciousness. Divine healing. If you want to be healed, you have to understand how to reprogram the trauma. You can't just speak it away. You can't just think it away. You can't just isolate yourself away. You can't music away. You can't write it away alone. Those methods help. But it's the programming. You're programming, you're coding. It's what's dictating your behaviors. This is why a lot of us are addicted to so many things, because we've been feeding it for years. And when you do not understand these processes, right, you indirectly keep feeding and feeding and feeding. So the moment you decide to be like, you know what, I'm going to starve this. I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to be this no more. I don't want to be him or her no more. I don't want to struggle no more. I don't want to live in poverty no more. I don't want to attract another unhealthy man or unhealthy woman no more. I don't want toxic relationships no more. I don't want to live in this unhealthy environment no more. When it comes to you making that decision, if you do not understand the processes in which your mind, your body, and your spirit is going to go through, you're going to not create the results you need. I don't like using fail, but that's a terminology that a lot of you understand. You're going to fail. It's not going to work. It's not. And I encourage you all to understand this when it comes to trauma, when it comes to relationships, right? Having a deeper understanding of the levels of consciousness, conscious awareness, is where you resolve the issues, is where you resolve the problems. Do you need assistance, mentoring, and coaching for that? Absolutely yes. Because if you knew the things that you should know, if you applied the things that you're saying you know, your reality should be a reflection of that. And if your reality isn't a reflection of that, then that lets you know that there's still some more work to do. That lets you know that there's some new information that you need. That lets you know that what you're doing isn't working. That lets you know that all those quick fixes that you need, stop doing that. Stop acting like an addict. You're not an addict. Stop acting like you're weak-minded and weak-willed. Stop always wanting a quick fix. Stop always wanting somebody to run the race for you. Stop always wanting something pushed in your damn veins to make you happy. Stop wanting to compensate, right, for what you lack. Stop wanting other people to be your adrenaline rush, to make you happy, to soothe all of your insecurities, to soothe all of your pains. Do the work. There's a difference between I want change and actually changing. It's going to require something of you. But if you do not understand what is the inception or the catalyst to what's influencing and creating your behaviors, how do you expect to change? How are you going to understand and know what you're fighting or what you need to program if you're not aware of the program? How many of you are familiar with what coding is, medical coding? Put a 1 in the comments if you're familiar with medical coding. Put a 1 in the comments if you understand anything about coding, technology, creating apps and systems. Now, y'all tell me if I'm making sense. How do you code a program? How do you recode a program? Do you just simply say change? Do you simply just wish the program to change? No, it requires work. And guess what? I know for me, coding was in a whole nother language, baby. A whole nother language that I didn't understand. I didn't want to understand it. That just wasn't my thing. But I use that analogy so you can. This is how it works. I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna use this board. This is how it works. Let me see if I can. So I can draw a picture for y'all. I'm gonna try to draw a picture for y'all. Okay. So this is how it works, right? Let me. Okay. Don't be laughing at my drawing. Okay. So this is. let's say this is an anchor. So let's say this is an anchor. Y'all know what an anchor is, right? It's something that anchors you down. Okay? I ain't going to draw the boat, but y'all know what I'm saying. Let's say this is the water. Right? This is the water. And this is, right? Now, the anchor typically has what? The anchor has what attached to it? What is attaching the anchor to the boat? Somebody put it in the comments. What is attached to the anchor? What is that? There you go, Red. There you go. The chain. That's not bright enough. You have the chain. Right? Let's say this is the boat. Don't laugh at my boat, okay? That's a boat. That's a boat, okay? That's a boat. So this is the anchor, right? All of the trauma. Can you see that? Let me just write in black because you can't see this. Traumas, pain, poverty, toxicity, all of these things, bad behaviors, all of these are programs, right? But guess, and all of these are linked. All of these are linked. Awareness, conscious awareness, is you just relying on what you're experiencing, external, right? So this is what the first level of awareness, you experiencing the toxicity, you can experience the trauma, you experiencing the hurt, you experiencing all the emotions and all of the pain, right? And you think simply by wishing these things away, they're just going to disappear, right? What you need to change is down here, right? In order for you to break the change, you're going to have to go underneath. Do y'all understand? You're going to have to go underneath. That's the only way you can change. Your mental database is not easily accessible. My bad. It's not easily accessible. And many of you are not changing because you don't understand this. Your mind is a supercomputer. Your mind is a supercomputer. There are infinite files in this computer. Every association, every program comes from, and the inception of it is on the level that's not easily accessible. It's like, think about it, for those of my veterans, right? My people who understand military jargon and stuff. It's like having top clearance, right? The path to reprogramming is not just easily accessible, which is why you can't speak your way into recoding or reprogramming. You can't just think your way into recoding or programming. You have to have clearance. You have to go deeper in the unconscious level. And that just does not happen simply by you talking. It doesn't simply happen by you talking. You have to, learn. Right? I always say this. I teach the 7 principles of self-mastery. Awareness. You have to be aware, not just first level awareness, all levels of awareness. That means internal and external conscious awareness. 2, you have to acknowledge that you don't know what you think you know. You have to acknowledge that you don't currently have the information that you need. Number 3, you have to be accountable. You have to be accountable. You may not be solely accountable for what you receive, the input, but you are definitely held responsible for output, right? We got 45 minutes. We almost there. I'm gonna do a quick commercial break in a minute, right? You're definitely gonna have to be accountable for that. If you do not understand what cognitive development is, mental reprogramming, cognitive reprogramming, neurological programming, neural network, things are not going to change for you, and I really don't want that for you, right? I don't. So when it comes to self-mastery and mastering yourself and your reality, there are things that are required. Okay? What I said, number 1, number 2. Number 1, awareness. Number 2, acknowledge. Number 3, accountability. Number 4, acceptance. 7 A's of self-mastery. Number 4 is acceptance. Many of us haven't fully accepted where we were, who we are, where we are, where we want to go, and who we want to be. We haven't fully accepted that. I know there's a lot of us who speak about, oh, I love myself, it's self-full love. How can you do so effectively if you do not understand these things that is a part of your triune essence? How can you truly, fully love yourself without even really knowing yourself, the inner workings? How can you call yourself a pediatrician if you never read a book, if you never got educated, if you never did an internship, if you never practiced, if you never became an expert? How can you righteously, wisely say that you are the physician if you never did any of the requirements, right? So how can you say, yeah, I fully accept who I am? Meanwhile, you're still repeating the same traumatic stories. It's one thing to repeat a story and actually be healed, then repeat a story and you're still healing. There's a difference between healing, healed, and growing. Frequency matters. This universe is governed by vibrations of frequency. Your words matter. Your understanding, overstanding, understanding matters. Your comprehension of these things matter. They all matter, my loves. The stats are astronomical as to how many of us are actually still experiencing suicidal, put an S in the front of that, thoughts. How many of us are suffering with deep mental illnesses. There are a lot of things that we need to understand, and awareness is at the top of that. We're not as aware as we think we are, in which we need to be. And in order for you to gain awareness in all of these levels, is you have to get educated. You got to stop playing with yourself and stop thinking you're not worth it. You either worth it or you ain't. Stop expecting everything to just be given to you. Talk. I want to know why. Do you really want to know why? And if you really want to know why, are you willing? Are you willing to do what is required? Right? The question not is, what do I need to do to change? The deeper question is, am I willing to do what I need to do to change? I'm going to let that sink in. Okay? So listen, for those of you, okay, Thank you so much for tuning in. It is always a pleasure. It is always my honor that you allow me in your space. You welcome me in your heart space and your mind space to be a part of your self mastery journey.